Queen MJ. Yeah. So, yeah. So the song we're playing is by India Reed featuring Pink. And like I said, it's called I Am Not My Hair. I'm not this skin. I am not your expectation. No, no, no. I ain't your expectation. Hey, hey, hey.
Yes, yes. Please,
Yes.
as you come in,
Yeah.
yeah, hit the invite button.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, yes, yes.
all your friends on your friend list and share. Please share. Because it's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot.
It's going to be popping.
Yeah.
And you don't want to miss this.
It's going to be real.
We are here.
Real.
We are live
We're
with
live.
Daddy God.
Daddy God.
Daddy God.
Daddy,
Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy.
Woo! It's all about the Daddy God.
It's all about Daddy God.
Experience with Daddy. Woo!
Yay. And if you're here, please send us some love, send us some likes. We want to know you're there. We want to say hello.
Say hello.
Are you sending some smiles?
Yeah, there we go.
Are you sending some We love you. We love you.
I am not your expectation, no. I am not my hair. I am not my skin. I am the soul that lives within. Woo! No, no, no. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Daddy G, getting all the glory.
Yeah, go daddy, 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 take God, 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 oh yeah, oh yeah, Hey! Please invite your friends. You don't want them to miss this.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss this.
I don't want to
That's
miss
why I'm here.
Yes.
So invite your friends. Join in, please. We don't want you to miss this.
So good afternoon, family, friends, kings and queens. My name is Anastasia Macdonald and I'm the host of this talk show called Who Is Your Daddy series. And this afternoon, we're having a special episode called The Healing Journey Experience with who else but Daddy God. Daddy God. We're here to share with you our experience of how Daddy God has been healing our hearts. He's been healing our wounded soul. He's been healing our mind. That's why we want to share this with you so that you too can experience His healing. You can trust Him for His healing power in whatever way that He wants to. He has been healing us in different, personal, very personal ways. And we just felt that we wanted to share this with you so that you can be encouraged, so that you can be uplifted, so that you can develop a closer, personal, warmer, richer, intentional, more intentional relationship with who I call Daddy G.
Daddy G.
Daddy G. G. Daddy G. He's my Daddy G.
Yeah.
Daddy G.
I'm 54, but I ain't tripping. He's my Daddy G.
Yeah, she ain't tripping.
He's my Daddy
She ain't
G.
tripping.
So before we get into, I hope you're sharing, share. Invite your family, invite your friends. Please tag. This is a special episode. Your lives are not going to be the same. We're going to be opening our hearts. We're going to be revealing the depths of our heart to you. One thing we don't want to do is to pretend, to fake it. No. We're being real with you. We are revealing our wounds, the rawness, our journeys, our ups, our downs, our triumphs, our trials, our irritations, even with Daddy G, you know, all the personal experiences, you know, that's what we want to do with you. So, without further ado, I'm going to be asking every one of us to share how we got to know each other. Because I guess you want to know that. How come that you got 4 people today instead of me? So we're going to start with our lovely and beautiful Queen Patty to share with us how she met with me and the rest of these beautiful queens.
Yes. Hello, Facebook. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTube. Hello, people watching live. Hello to people watching on replay. This is the Healing Journey Experience, the talk show with Queen Anastasia Macdonald, and we're coming to you live. Yes, we're coming to you live.
Yes.
And today I want to tell you, like Queen Anastasia said, how I met this beautiful queen. She's 54 years old, but you know, if you meet her, you will think she's 24 years old. She is stunning. She's beautiful on the outside and the inside. And so this is how I bumped into this miracle gem of a woman, okay? So we are on this platform, we follow a certain figure, a certain personality, a personality that is very practical, a personality that is very philosophical, that is very, you know, he's a philanthropist, he's also a doctor, he's an academic person, and he's a very rational, he's a very pragmatic man. And so his name is Dr. Sunday Adelaja. And so both Queen Anastasia and I were following Dr. Sunday Adelaja. And you can do this by going onto his page, Dr. Sunday Adelaja, on Facebook, and you could listen to his teachings. And so on this page was this beautiful woman. And what she would do while he was live is write down the points, the notes that he was making. And because I'm a mom, I have 2 little girls, and they're under the age of 3, and so I'm always busy, I'm always, you know, all over the place. I don't have time to sit down and listen to something at length because of the children. And so beautiful Queen Anastasia would take down notes. She would literally take notes, and she would write down, you know, summarized bullet points of what Dr. Sunday was teaching. And so when I would be logging in and out because of the children, I would read these notes. And so that would summarize for me what Doctor would have said and what I would have missed. And so I thought, I need to write to this woman and tell her that she's doing a good job and she shouldn't stop. And so I wrote to her. And guess what? Guess what? She responded. She responded. Not only did she respond, but she went on to view my live broadcast and to give me feedback, constructive criticism, and that really helped me. She is so diligent, she's very detailed, and very descriptive. And so she sent me a message with pointers, things that could help me, and I thought, brilliant woman, brilliant woman. So that is how we met. That is how we connected online. And so we thought, you know what, let's take this a step further, okay? Let's take this a little bit further, all right? And guess what we did? Guess what we did? We met live, face to face, okay? And you know what we discovered? We discovered that we lived 30 minutes apart. Wow. Okay? We were 30 minutes from each other. And so we said, no, we can't be doing this on the internet anymore. We have to come together. We have to meet. And I tell you, from the first day we met, it was family. It was not awkward. We were not strangers. We knew each other. And we connected as sisters. And I remember we sang the song, We Are Family. Because we are family. And that's how I met Queen Anastasia Macdonald.
Oh, thank you. So next we're going to ask this beautiful, pretty queen on my right to tell how she met myself and the rest of the queens.
Oh, wow. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so welcome everyone. My name is Livani, short for Livy. I have known Queen Anastasia for about almost 11 years now. I met her through a friend of mine because she used to have about 11 11 years ago. She used to run a youth group in her home called Academy, and that youth group was basically for to bring up. So basically, she's always had a passion for mentoring people and encouraging people, empowering people, and she opened her home here, and she had 12 kids, and I was one of those kids, and we used to meet up every Mondays, and she would just empower us, encourage us, and she was really there for us, and we were honestly, like, was very, very privileged. So I've been under her for such a long time. She has become my mommy. She has become my mother, my second mother, and she has just watched me grow. Like, she's watched me grow. She's been there for me, like, physically, mentally, emotionally, honestly, in every way possible. I don't know how many times I've literally knocked on her door, and her door is always open. I can talk to her anytime. She's literally always here. So so the Academy group that she opened up, it was to basically to raise up leaders of tomorrow, because she believed in young people. She believed in empowering young people, and that is how I met her, and I've never left her since.
Queen MJ is saying the volume is very, very low. They can't hear us.
Okay, so let's
Sorry.
raise our voices. Yeah. Okay, so that's Queen Libby, my daughter, my spiritual daughter.
Yes.
I really, it's very special. And right in front of us, the one and only, one Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth. Listen.
Hi guys. It's so good. It's such a privilege and it's such an honor for me to be here today. I met Queen Anastasia Macdonald on Pastor Sunday's platform. Like Queen Patty rightly said, that, you know, she normally does the notes, and, you know, for me, like, I don't catch up quickly, you know. So when I look at the notes, she write on the comment section, so I'm catching up with what Pastor Sunday is saying. So we met, you know, in Pastor Sunday's platform, you know, and we started talking, and she invited me for one of her talk shows that we did for single moms. So I came the first time I came, and that was when I had an encounter with her, and we were talking. We were just talking together through the night, and we got to realize that we both had kind of the same experience, the whole growing up without love and affection and care, and, you know, so we grew up that way, but her experience was much more deeper than mine. So, and that was it. That was how we connected. So early this year, she went for HMT. Whilst she was on HMT, she was like, wow, that we need to get together, we need to start a book club together. So I was like, yay! I was so excited for us to, you know, start this book club. And she said we should start with Who Am I, right? So I was like, okay. And after a while, I had you know, a horrible experience, you know, so that kind of made me I was like saying to God, you know, that I really need someone to really help me with this, you know, what I'm going through. And you know what? Daddy Sneaky went and told her that she needs to start a school. So she started the Healing Journey Academy. So this is the academy. We are the students. So we started this journey, and it has been amazing. You know, it's been amazing. So I met Queen Anastasia on Pastor Sunday's platform.
Yeah. And, you know, before we go into further details, I just want to take this second here to honor and celebrate Dr. Sunday Adelaja, who I call my best mentor in the whole wide world. Because what what you see is all his influence.
Yes, it is.
It is his influence. I wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't met, or Daddy God hadn't, led me to Dr. Sunday Adelaja and infused us with belief and all that. And it's just been 10 months since I met Dr. Sunday Adelaja, and I can't even recognize myself.
Wow.
You
are amazing.
Yes,
beautiful.
I can't.
Stunning woman.
I can't recognize myself.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
It's
been an amazing journey with Pastor Sunday.
Dr. Sunday, I just want to say, we want to
Thank
say
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My
Thank
best
you.
friends in the whole wide world. Right, so going more into the healing journey. Right, how did it start? I know Queen Elizabeth has talked a little bit about it. So I went for HMT, which is a History Makers training, a very special in detail training held in Kyiv, Ukraine by Dr. Sunday Adelaja. For the second time I've been, and when I came back, I just felt that, like Queen Elizabeth said, to go deeper. I felt the need to explore the wounds, the hurts of not having a daddy in our life. Not forgetting that I also started I started the talk show by then, I think. But I felt that one needed to go deeper, So anyway, by the special circumstance with Daddy G, Daddy G. For you don't know who Daddy G is, he's Daddy God.
Daddy God.
But we promoted him right now. He's Daddy G. So I thought, okay. So I thought I'm going to go into this material that I had and start this healing journey. So we spoke to Queen Elizabeth about it and asked, whether she was interested. She said yes, and we started in April. We started over the phone, so we'll go through the material, and then who came next? I spoke to my spiritual daughter and said, would you like to join?
And I was like,
yes. And so we moved from the phone to Skype.
Yeah.
And then I thought, who else wants to join?
Queen Patty.
Queen
Patty showed up.
Everybody showed up. So we want to share with you what exactly is this heal experience. What are we talking about? What is it? So would you like to go and give it?
Absolutely.
Tell us the story.
What are we talking about? For those that are just joining, this is the healing journey experience. And we are sharing what this is all about and what it means to us. And for me, I was the last one to join the college, the academy, okay? I was the last one to join, and what it was for me, it was going back, okay? Going back to the reference points, going back to all the places, all the spots that are significant in my life. I mean, from childhood until today. The places that hurt me, the places that broke me, the places that damaged me, and working on those places. Because oftentimes when I go through things in life, I try to be strong. I am a strong personality. I am very, very out there. I'm an extrovert. And because of that, I tend to just put, things that I'm dealing with aside and not really work on them. And development, that is how I was growing up. That is how I was dealing with all those reference points. But when I joined the healing experience, I managed to face the things that I've been sweeping under the carpet, the issues that I have neglected to deal with. And I began to open up that carpet, open up the Pandora's box, and guess what came out? A lot of hurt, a lot of pain. From my childhood, I had daddy issues. I had a lot of, damage growing up as a child. I got abused as a child when I was growing up. And so I had to open up those places. I had to deal with those reference points and turn them from a negative reference point into a positive reference point. And to be able to help other people who are in those problems. And so I had to face the past. I had to receive counseling. I had to receive professional counseling. I had to talk to the ladies here. I had to hear their experiences and feel that I'm not alone. I had to stop hiding. I had to come out. Come out and be me. And I had to stop, putting on the facade of I'm okay when I'm not okay. And when I needed to cry and pick up the phone and talk to Queen Anastasia for 4 hours, I would do that. I would do whatever it takes, okay? Yes, if I need to just chat to him, I would do that. And so that has been the healing experience for me. That has been the journey. It's very real for me. It's very personal for me. I feel like I can bear it all in this safe place with these women, with Daddy God. And we can do that because we have a common ground. We have a common denominator, which is Daddy God. And so this is what it is for me. This is what it has been for me. And I have seen a transformation. I have seen a change. My self-confidence was very low and down. Though I was a strong personality, I looked down on myself. I was hiding. I was not being myself to the full. And so coming here, I was able to come out of my shell, be even stronger on the inside as I am on the outside, and just receive my healing. So that has been my journey.
So one of the main things that has been happening in all of our lives is learning to go to the safe place where Daddy G is. So we've been learning about what is our safe place. Where do we experience the most comfortable place with Daddy? And it has just been amazing because some of the safe places we'd forgotten. Then Daddy God, Daddy G began to remind us going back to our childhood. So for example, and I'm going to say mine before I go to, for example, you know my life story, or for those of you who don't know or haven't watched my life story, it's on YouTube. If you go to Anastasia Macdonald and type my life stories, I have a whole this thing. And part of my healing journey was Daddy God reminding me about my childhood, way back when I used to be with my foster mother, my white foster mother, as a child. My white foster mother she was a Catholic, and she used to go to mass, and she would take me with her. And I remember she would sit me on the ground in between the pews with my coloring book. And Daddy God just began to remind me that was one of my safe places. He began to, my goodness, he began to interpret that. Whilst as a child, yes, of all places, don't tell Daddy God where you can experience him. Don't tell anybody, or don't tell him that you can't experience him in a Catholic. But he began to reveal to me as a child, when I sat there with my coloring book, he loved it. He was with me. He was actually grooming me to be in his presence, to be an artist. And I didn't know this until we started this healing journey, until we started spending time and asking Daddy God, what is our healing place? Because, life happens to us, things happen to us, and you forget. And if you would examine, as Dr. San has been teaching us, through the art of analytical thinking, if you go back to your childhood, you will realize that Daddy God has been speaking to you and interacting with you very much as when you were tender child. But because life happens to you, wounds, bruises, labels, so you forget. It's almost like you have amnesia. And he began to take me back. He said, do you remember when your white foster mother would take you to for the masses, because you were Catholic, and you would sit in between the pews and you would do your coloring? I was there with you. I love to see you color.
Wow.
I love to see you color. When you sit there just enjoying yourself, I was with you. I was the most proud father. I was the most proud Daddy G, watching you as a tender child coloring. And I was grooming you. What you were doing there, you thought you were just coloring. I was grooming you to be in my presence. I was grooming you to be my artist. I was grooming you that your art would one day express who I am to the world. And I never had this interpretation until we started this healing journey. We started asking Daddy God about what is my safe place? Because, we live in a world which can be very scary. So when when things happen to you, where do you run to? So Daddy God began to reveal these images, and I was like totally blown away. And that one, if I just quickly mention before I go to leave, is when we're going through Psalm 23, and Daddy God would, reveal to me that He's carrying me on His shoulders. I would see Him carrying me on His shoulder, and He's so happy. So me, He's carrying on His shoulders in Psalm 23, and He says, my shoulders are your safe place. This is the healing experience with Daddy G.
Yeah, Daddy
G.
God. That's it.
Daddy G. Queen Libby.
Wow. Okay. For me, this healing journey has been, so amazing. And so overwhelming, but in a good way. Raise your voice. Yes. Let me get closer. Yeah, it's been very overwhelming, but in a good way. One of my safe place. So a safe place would be a place where you feel more comfortable, like Queen Anastasia said, and more secure, and a place where you can find rest. So when we received instruction from Queen Anastasia to go back and look at our safe places and identify them from our childhood, one of the things that came up was the fact that my safe place was actually in my mind. I liked so much to daydream. I was a daydreamer. I would literally paint my whole life like in my mind. I would even go and sit in my bed, don't want to be anywhere, don't want to go anywhere, don't want to go out with my friends. I would rather go and sit in my bed where I'm more comfortable, where I'm most at rest, where I'm most secure, because I know that if I'm in my house, nothing is going to happen to me. So I would go to my safe place in my mind, and I would start creating this life. I will start creating this life that is pain-free, that has no anger, that is doesn't confuse me, that is just so perfect. And the reason that I was doing that is because everything else around me physically, like, was not going okay. You know, it wasn't up until this journey that I realized that there's so much in me that I have suppressed so much and I don't want to deal with up until we started going through this journey. And another thing was that my other safe place that I honestly, God is just so amazing. It's actually Anastasia, Queen Anastasia. She, I realized that actually all these years she was my safe place because she knows. No, she really was, because I don't remember how many times I've actually come here. I live here, you know. I live here, and you know, I would come here and I would feel so more free than anything else, and I would feel so, you know, just at rest and just so secured. And you know, I've done that for so many years, and I didn't even realize that she was actually my safe place, a place where I would come here and feel free to cry and just express myself in a much more, I don't know, way that if I was to do it outside, you know, they would think I'm crazy, because, you know, one of the things that I do a lot is cry. I cry a lot.
You're not the one.
Oh yeah, you're not the only one. We are criers.
I cry a lot. And, you know, recently, through this journey, not only are we healing, but we're getting to understand ourselves in a much more deeper way. And that is just revealing himself in a much more personal way. You know, I was asking Daddy, you know, in our last meeting, I was asking Daddy, why Daddy, why do I cry so much? Why is it that I cry so much? You know, because I was labeled as this person, you know, outside, like the society, they just label you as this person. Oh, you're so weak, like, you know, just get over it, what's wrong with you? But you know, as Daddy, I started asking Daddy, you know, I went on a date with Daddy. I was asking him, and he didn't answer me. That day he didn't answer me, but a few days later, he came up with an answer, and he said that I have made you a highly sensitive person.
Whoops.
That means that
Wow.
I've got a biological difference in my central nervous system. I began to understand why God made me the way that He made me, and I began to understand, because I've always hid this crying thing. The only place, which is basically my safe place, I would cry, it's with my mom or with my mom. Literally here. This is the only safe place I would cry. I would never cry anywhere else, because that was seen as something that is just so weak. So this healing journey, not only is it doing that, but it's honestly making us more confident, making us more bolder.
Yes.
We are literally getting to know ourselves in a much more deeper way. Daddy is becoming really real in our hearts.
Yes.
It's
It
very
really
real.
is.
It's very real.
Yes.
It's real.
This is real stuff.
It's real.
This is real stuff,
Very real.
honestly.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, Queen Elizabeth, would you like to share?
Yeah. I'm so excited, that we began this journey, because I've been through a lot, and I just completely shut down in my heart, and it feels like as if I sold my heart away. Like, my heart has been broken so many times, not just by my dad, but also by the men that I went into relationship with, so it felt like as if I didn't have any heart anymore. So when I met Pastor Sunday, and he started teaching me, educating me on finding purpose and mentoring me and all that, I needed to take a step. I needed to move forward, but I couldn't move forward. One of the first encounter that I had with Daddy God was that he had to let me know that if I'm going to, use you to touch the life of women out there, I'm very particular about women, especially broken women and women that have been through a lot of things, So Daddy was like, I can't do anything. I need your heart. So my heart was my first encounter. My heart was the first experience that I had with God, because he had to make, like, it was like an open conversation with him, to say that if, let me do this, just give me your heart. He had to reassure me that he's not going to do further damage, but he was going to take that away. And one of the image that I had, and I had my imagination was really impaled, like my imagination was really bad because of the things that I went through. So he cleaned up my imagination, and he gave me this picture of a mirror, and the mirror was so broken, like the mirror was shattered. So he said to me that I should look at myself in that mirror, and I look at myself in that mirror in my imagination, and I saw different images of myself and all that. So he said, this is how your heart is. But he said, okay, let's do this. He flipped the mirror over, and all the broken mirror came out, and the whole thing was just laid bare. And he said, I want your heart to be like this, because I want to begin a new journey with you. So when Queen Anastasia sent me the materials that we needed for this journey, the first thing I said is, wow, this is so much what I needed. So, and one of my the first safe place that I experienced, like I said, was in my heart. That was my, because after all that I've been through, what I tend to do is I tend to lean towards people, or I tend to lean especially towards men, to give me to kind of cover up for me for whatever it is. So Daddy had to go through that. I had to go through that safe place with Daddy. As a matter of fact, few weeks ago, one of the things that I encountered with him was a scripture. I know that they normally preach that scripture in the church and all that, but the scripture was I should guard my heart. And he showed me that my heart was such a delicate place. My heart is like is my whole entire life embodied. So for my heart to be the way it is, he needed to take me there and give me reasons why, he said, he made that statement that I should guard my heart. But I couldn't do that, so I couldn't do that. And I'm like, I sit down and I have conversations with him. I challenge him many times, and he takes me to all kinds of safe places, taking me to scriptures, and these scriptures, I own them right now. I own them. Wow. They are my personal, yes. They are like my personal credentials. I own them. Yeah. Nobody can take away that scripture from me. When this journey started, I never knew that as a result of the relationship I didn't have with my dad affected me. I didn't know it. I didn't know that all the abuse and psychological, mental, all kinds of abuse that I went through, I didn't know that they were affecting me. I didn't know that they were, hindering me. Sometimes, like, you want to go forward, but it just seems like you can't go anywhere.
That's right.
Like, you want to reach out for something, For me, it feels like Pastor Sunday has offered me something, but I can't accept it. I can't do anything because I am stuck. Why am I stuck? Because of all the things that are, holding me back. So it's been a crazy journey, going through all those all those places. So my safe place, one of my safe place is my heart, and I'm so grateful because Daddy had to begin the work right from there.
So I'd like to share another safe place of mine. Another safe place of mine is, Daddy G, is writing letters to Daddy. I absolutely love writing letters to Daddy. And you're going to be seeing more of those letters on My Daddy Go For Real on Facebook.
Yeah.
When I write to him, that place is a place where I feel like I can be myself. I mean, I joke with Daddy G. I tease Daddy G.
We throw tantrums.
I throw tantrums with Daddy G.
Yeah.
We're going to be showing you. We're going to be sharing our tantrum experiences with Daddy G.
We throw tantrums.
And like, I'm just, what the Bible says, unless you become like a child, you cannot enter the kingdom of God. And Daddy G is not joking when he says that. It is so true. You will have to be like a child. If you really want to experience Daddy G, if you want to, so you have the choice. If you want to do religion, I read my Bible, I pray in tongues, I go to church, I fast, I pray. Well, there's nothing much wrong with those things, but we're talking about
a personal.
Yeah. How personal is your personal experience with Daddy?
How personal is your personal?
Your experience with Daddy,
Yes.
Daddy G.
Yes.
Now, my personal experience is, I call him Daddy G.
With a big G.
With a big G.
Daddy G.
The big G.
Yeah.
And I proudly call him Daddy G.
Yeah.
I'm able to call him because I've chosen to be like a little child.
Yeah.
To humble myself and to just, so I absolutely love writing to him. And I love using the emojis, to just have fun with him. Try it. It is amazing. It is absolutely enjoyable being just free and normal with Daddy G. Or another safe place of mine is taking Daddy G on a date, a coffee date.
I like that as well. Yeah,
Frappuccino.
that was one thing we learned.
Coffee date.
Anastasia.
I love to take him on a coffee date.
Yeah.
I've even taken Daddy G to the cinema.
Wow.
Yes, I said, Daddy G, we're going to the cinema. And I love to watch real life stories. I don't go for, just any real life, so things that I can learn lessons from.
Yes.
So I'll say to Daddy G, let's go to the cinema. Yeah. Or sometimes I would organize creative dates with Daddy G. And so I will pack my artistic tools and say, Daddy G, we're going to a cafe and we're going to do some designing. So it's intentional. He's intentional.
He's intentional.
Woo! And I began to realize all these safe places. Another safe place of mine is in the car. When my former job, I used to travel for an hour, and I absolutely had the most intimate times with Daddy because it's just me and him. There's no distraction.
Yeah.
And we're on this, this long journey. There's nothing but just what do you call it, tar or whatever.
Yeah.
And the bush.
Yeah.
And we will talk, and we will talk, and we will talk, and we will talk, and we will talk.
Yeah.
My question to you is, how personal is your personal relationship with him?
Yeah.
Another one, if I may, is I love to cook with Daddy in the kitchen. As a matter of fact, I didn't invite him. He invited me. He told me that when you're in the kitchen, I would love to cook with you. I'm interested in cooking. If you didn't know, don't just keep me in the church or the four walls. Don't just keep me on the prints or the prayer. I like to be with you in the kitchen.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
He wants to be everywhere with us. Yeah.
So as I'm cooking in the kitchen, I'll ask him, so Daddy go, what do you think? What spices do you think we should add to this? How can we do this different? When something goes wrong, I say, Daddy G, how am I going to do? How are we going to remedy the situation? How are we going to remedy? Daddy G is amazing. It's part of the healing journey.
It's part of the healing
journey.
Yeah, it is. It's so amazing. Because sometimes we when we have when we're going through all the seasons of our life, it feels like as if he's not there, but he is right there. But and that was one of the experience we had in one of the materials we used. That are we really open? Because he has put everything out there for us. The Bible is not just there for us to read, memorize it, and just use it. No, it's for us to use it as as a shield, as affirmation, as something that he's saying. But it is more personal when you hear him tell you, this is what I'm saying. Like when we go through those seasons, he is there. But how open are you to accepting his proposition, saying that I want to be with you? One of the things that I learned to do was when I'm coming out, of the shower, I want him to hold my hand and bring me out of the shower. I mean, so many experiences, so he wants to do all those things with you. He wants to go shopping with you, as a matter of fact.
Tantrums.
No tantrums.
No tantrums.
Tantrum is another. We're coming.
Yeah. We're talking about the tantrums we have with Daddy G.
Yeah, no tantrums. I had an experience with Daddy, and and I want to say this, to especially women, because we have a need for attention, we have a need for love, we have those needs, and trust me, Daddy is willing to give it to you 24/7. But you have to invite him for him to do those things with you. I remember one time I shared that experience with us, that I was going out for shopping. I wanted to get some personal items for myself, and when I went there, I was walking all around the mall. I was going all over the place, and it felt like I was frustrated. Guys, don't you feel sometimes you're just frustrated in your life, like when you're going up and down the place and you feel like God is not there, but he is there. But how are you inviting him? So I invited him, and I said, Daddy, please, I'm looking for these items, and I really want to get these items because I want to get out of this shop quickly. And Daddy was like, okay, let's go to the side of the mall. And we went to the side of the mall. Not only did I get what I was looking for, but I got it in a very cheaper, price. So I'm just using this to illustrate for women. Like Queen Anastasia rightly said, when she goes to the kitchen, and it's not only when things are going bad you invite him. Invite him when things are going good. Invite him when you're baking. Invite him, tell him, Daddy, how many scoops of sugar do we need to add? Whatever it is, it's just all about relationship. And he wants to have that relationship with you. He wants to do everything with you. He wants to go everywhere with you. So it's personal. It has to be personal. Yeah.
And I just want to share this one with you. It's like Daddy G, it doesn't make sense. He can turn anything into a laughing.
Yeah.
Do you think you know the most comical person on earth? Who is the best comedian that you know?
Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart?
No, Kevin Hart. No, Kevin Hart. Not Kevin
You
Hart.
don't experience Daddy G. He's funny.
He's so funny.
He is very funny.
He's quite funny.
Than Trevor Noah.
You can send any experience. Like this other day, I was going to IKEA, or something to IKEA, because I tend to do my conversion. Because me and Daddy we go to different places to do our conversion. So anyway, I was driving and going to IKEA, and I had to do left turn to go into IKEA, and then so I put my signal on, and it started tick 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 tick, and then Daddy G just turned it into a laughing experience, and I began to I said, Daddy G, but what's so funny about turning the igniter on?
Yeah.
And I was laughing with him. He can choose any ridiculous situation and make you start laughing. But trust me, you wanna, you see how Dr. Sunday is so passionate about getting rid of religion.
Yeah, he is.
And he always talks about having a personal relationship.
He's always like this.
Like this.
When he talks about God, he's like this.
If you want to have this with Daddy G,
you want to have this?
You want to have this? You will.
Yeah. If you want to have this, yeah.
You can experience different situations where you go.
I have to get up, All right, guys. Okay, are you ready?
You ready?
Me, I was hiding. Okay, I was hiding. How was I hiding, guys?
She's been hiding.
Let me come closer. I was in a rock band. Okay, for 3 years, I was in a rock band. I am a rock star.
She's a rock star.
Yeah. I am a singer, and I love rock music. And so, when you go through experiences sometimes, like I said earlier, you hide because you've been hurt in that place.
Yeah.
And so I started hiding from singing. I started hiding. Anyone who would come up and say, let's do something together, I would make every excuse on earth not to do it because I wanted to hide. Okay. The second thing I can tell you is I can graphic design. I can draw.
Isn't that amazing?
This is my profession is IT, project management, and design. So that is the field that I am good at and I am trained at. Those are my skills. And so I started hiding. Can you believe that? I stopped drawing, I stopped coloring, I stopped designing, I stopped singing, and I stopped speaking. I was doing, going, motivating people, particularly young women, and I stopped. I stopped because I was hiding. Wow. And I am someone who loves to color my hair. I am someone who loves to do my makeup. And I started hiding. And so when you take a flower and you put it under, a basket, we don't enjoy its beauty. We don't enjoy its aroma, its smell. And so I started hiding. And guess what? If you leave it there, no water, no sunlight, it starts to stink. So I started stinking because I wasn't being me anymore. I started to, just how I would get myself ready. You should have met me. I look like someone else. I mean, someone who met me, who knew me before said, who are you? Who are you? I don't remember you. You don't look like this. You don't look like this. What happened to you? And so I had been hurt. I had been damaged. And so I was now hiding.
And so, you know, I felt dirty. I felt I wasn't beautiful. Can you believe? Let me come closer. You see my face.
Yes, please go closer.
Can you believe that this face right here? I believe that I'm not beautiful. This face right here, here. I believed I wasn't beautiful. I believed I wasn't attractive. I believed I wasn't, you know, valuable anymore. I believed I was just, you know, nothing because of hurt. And so because of that, I started to hide. You know, I remember a couple of birthdays that I've spent, and some of them I've spent them all alone. No phone call, happy birthday, no nothing. I stopped socializing. I stopped having friends. Okay, and I'm being very real with you because this is real for me. And so, you know, I stopped having friends and I stopped going out. I'm a very outgoing personality, as you can see right now. I speak my mind, and so I just sat in there. At some point, I thought, nobody loves me. Nobody cares for me. If they did, they would call me. If they did, they would write to me. And so, you know, I remember I spent my 28th or 29th birthday, 28th or 29th, I'm not sure which one. I spent it alone. And in those moments, I just felt like nobody really cared. And at some point, I thought I needed to end it because nobody cared for me. Nobody loved me. People would see the strong me, but nobody knew that I was struggling on the inside. Nobody knew that I needed the hug. Nobody knew that I needed the embrace because of my personality. Because I would be out there and I would be, you know, active, I would be smiling, but I was damaged.
It's like the cover-up.
It was a cover-up. I wasn't coming out. I was hiding. And so I would like to say to you that if there are people around you sometimes who are strong personalities, who, you know, who you think, oh, this girl is so beautiful, you know, she doesn't have, you know, down days. Sometimes those people, behind that strong personality, there's a soft, broken little girl or boy. And so in my case, there was a broken little girl. And so if you go on my Facebook, you'll be able to, you know, hear my stories and my journey of my childhood and until today. And so this has been very real for me. This has been very real because I was able to come out. And I thank God for Queen Anastasia because she's one of the people who noticed me. She noticed the strong personality, but she looked a little deeper. And she could see that there was a broken little girl on the inside who needed to be hugged, who needed to be loved. And I remember the first day she met me, she wouldn't let go of me. She would hold me. You can even see right now, you know, her hands are all over me. And if she had her way, she would just be holding me and I'll be sitting on her the whole program. Okay? But, you know, so she embraced me and she saw me. She noticed me. And I'm so thankful for that. And so this is what the healing journey has been for me. It's coming out. It's allowing myself to be weak where I'm weak. Allowing myself to admit my failures. Allowing myself to say I'm in trouble, I'm not happy. Certain things in my life are not okay and I need help. And so when I did that, I can't explain to you the freedom I feel. I started doing my makeup. You can see me. Those of you that, you know, saw me a few months ago, I started coming out. I'm wearing my bright colors again. I started coloring. I'm starting to design again. I'm starting to dream again. You know, by the age of 30, I was hoping to have done my PhD at the age of 30. That was my goal. And so at this moment, I've done, you know, my first degree. And so now I'm like, you know what, I need to pick myself up again. Go and do that master's program. Go and excel. Go and just be me again and live again. And so this is what the healing journey has been for me. I found myself. I have found, you know, those reference points. I have found, you know, Daddy God in a new way where I can be real with Him in the good things, in the things I'm strong, and also in the things that I'm weak. And so I've realized that when I say I'm weak in this, when I admit it, when I face it, that this area of my life is struggling, this relationship is struggling, then He becomes strong in that area. So I'd like to encourage you, if you, I know as Christians sometimes, particularly from an African point of view, we are taught to
say it is well and we are blessed.
It's okay.
It's very much okay to say right now it is not okay and I need help, and you get help. Because faith says it will be okay, but at the moment reality also says I need help. And so if you are in water, don't smile and take selfies. Confess, be honest, and say I need help, I am drowning.
Yes.
And it's okay if it's financial, if it's marital, if it's whatever area. And so when I got to that point on this healing journey, I remember talking to Queen Anastasia and saying, Queen Anastasia, I'm in trouble. I was just crying on the phone talking to her. It's real for me. And so in that moment, Daddy God met me there. He said, Patience, we're going to take a journey. It's going to be a difficult journey because we have to look in the past. We have to fix the broken places. We have to address this little girl who is broken. And we have to repair her. We have to mend her. And so one of the ways I did that is listening to the teachings and the trainings from Dr. Sunday Adelaja. The second thing I did is to, join the healing group, this healing journey group. Join other women. Be honest in this academy. And get my healing. Healing not by water, by miracle, or by kiss, not by French kiss, by pastors on the internet, no. Not by offering prophets offerings, no. But healing by being honest and admitting what happened, and then making changes and working at it and making a change. And so that's what I'm doing today. So this has been my story. And as for Daddy, he has been instrumental because I was very religious before, and I would pray, make religious prayers with Christian jargon in it. And now it's very real. So for example, this morning, something upset me this morning, and I said to him, Daddy, this has really ticked me off. And I just need you to sort this. So I was upstairs, they're having a tantrum. How could no. I was really letting it out. And so he's a father. He's a lover. He's compassionate. He's gentle. He's patient. He's a gentleman. He sat there. He listened to me. He embraced me, and I felt his love. I felt his acceptance, and that helped me. So this has been very real for me. And I would like to encourage you, if you can, join this group or find somewhere, find something where people can stand with you, they can support you, and at the same time, you can be real with yourself. And that's where the change will begin.
And isn't it amazing that, she was, doing all that, and knowing that he doesn't judge us, he doesn't condemn us, because he doesn't do that, because I remember in one of the experience that we had was, because after the relationship that I've been through, seeking for love, in the arms of other men, in the arms of strange men, obviously, some things were done and all that. And to be very honest, since we're being real, in one of the relationships that, I had to, because I wanted to preserve that relationship, I had to, abort the pregnancy that I was carrying as at that time, and remembering, what I was remembering, and Daddy was saying to me, he was affirming me, he was saying to me that, I would never condemn you, I would never judge you. Like, I know, because I look at myself that, I've done all these horrible things, all in the name of love, and all because, I just wanted to keep someone that would love me. But Daddy said, he said, and Daddy has a name. He has a name he calls me, a personal name. And he said to me, I will never judge you. I will never condemn you. Because self-condemnation is so huge, like it's so massive, like we condemn ourselves for every little thing that we do. When things don't work out in our marriage, we're complaining it's our fault. When we do things, we make mistakes all the time. But you know what? Daddy knows we're humans. He knows we can't be perfect. And that is why he can never judge us. And he said to me, I will never judge you. I know all the things that you have done, but I will never condemn you. And he keeps affirming me all the time that he loves me, that he cares for me. But I needed to hear that from him. I didn't want to hear it from someone telling me that God loves you. I don't want to hear that. Because I'm broken.
Yeah.
I'm shattered. You know, right from when I was a child, I never had anyone said they loved me or hugged me or said anything. I didn't have that. I never had that. My dad was really cold towards me.
Yeah.
He was really cold.
Yeah.
And, you know, to have God tell me that He loves me, that He cares for me, that He will never judge me, that He will never condemn me, you know, like He was.
This is very real.
Yeah.
This is very real.
Because, you know, like, one of the things that happened to me was that I was so ashamed of myself. I was so ashamed that I have betrayed Him. I was so ashamed that, you know, I'm such a mess. And He said to me, He said, I'm not ashamed of you.
Oh,
These are the things we've been experiencing on this healing journey. Yeah.
He said, I am not ashamed of you. And, you know, like, He is not. Because He is intentional. He knows what He's doing.
Yeah, He does. He's very personal, very, very personal, Daddy God. He's very personal. I want to share experience that I had with recently. I had to go and sort something very special of mine in the city center, and it kept on transpiring that they would, you know, I would book an appointment, and then I would have to come back home with other things being sorted. Then I'll go back again, and then rebook to go and have this thing sorted again. And then the third time, now we're being real.
Very real.
Very real.
We're being very real.
So the third time, I'd waited 3 hours, and I had to come back home because my parking, had run out. I had to come back home. Now, when I was coming home, on my way home, I had the hump. The hump, is it? The hump.
Yeah.
The hump.
It's tough. Yeah.
I had the hump, and who did I have the hump with?
With God.
Daddy
G.
Yeah.
So on my way home, I didn't want to admit to Daddy G that I had that hump with him. I was upset. I didn't want to admit that I was having tantrums with him. We have tantrums and we share. We share our tantrums.
We are honest.
We always do.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to admit to him that I had a hump with him and that I was having a tantrum with him.
Yeah.
And so I was pretending, you know, and I was pretending and trying to say that, you know, okay, because you're my daddy and I want to show you respect, so there's nothing, you know, there's nothing going on between you and I, because I'm showing you respect. There's nothing. I wasn't being upfront with him. Anyway, so I rebooked again to go and have this thing sorted. So the fourth time, whilst I was having my shower, and then guess what Daddy G said to me? Guess what Daddy G said to me? Because I still had the hump. And he said to me, don't you know that when you go out, I enjoy going out with you?
Wow.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
Don't you know when you go out, I enjoy going out with you? Guys, ladies, kings, queens, family, friends, whoever you are, immediately it wiped every trace of anger, hump, tantrum, whatever you want to call it. Immediately it wiped it away. He just gave me a new perspective. I mean, Daddy G, I'm telling you, whatever situation you have, when he gives you his perspective, you will just melt. You will just fall in honor and worship with him.
Yeah.
You just love him.
Yeah.
And you know, like Queen Elizabeth was saying, he didn't judge me. He didn't judge me to say that, oh
why
my God,
angry?
why are you angry?
Why are you upset?
Why are you upset? Oh, why are you not being grateful?
No, why are you not grateful?
Why are you not grateful? No.
Yeah.
What he said to me was like, Anastasia, daughter, don't you know that when you go out,
I enjoy going out with you.
Yeah.
That was like OMG. Immediately I was humbled. Immediately I was floored.
Oh,
And you know,
look at that.
I was floored. And as we went out, when we went out, I said, Daddy, if I have to go to this place 20 times,
I will
every
go.
I will go.
Yeah.
I will go.
Now that you understand
I
his
will go.
purpose.
Yeah, I will go. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No more hums.
No more
No more
tantrums.
tantrums.
No more tantrums.
No more tantrums.
Yeah.
If it means that it's just about me and you going out together, then
Yeah.
I will go. It
We'll go
changed
with you.
everything.
Yeah.
And I met a different side of Daddy G.
Yeah.
You know, he's involved in our details.
Everyone.
Every it doesn't matter what it is.
Absolutely.
If you just open to him, he will reveal himself to you in magnificent, simple, humble,
Yeah.
comical ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Daddy God is absolutely amazing. And this is not a mantra. This is the real.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you want, any tantrum you want to share with? You've had with Daddy?
Tantrum.
It's,
Yeah.
it's what?
Share.
So with me, one of the things that I have always struggled with is rejection. And
It's a big one.
And that's because growing up, I found out in my teens that my father wasn't my biological father, and that really, really broke me. And I just shut down. I didn't want to talk to anyone about it, and I always cried, but I wasn't. You know, the more I cried, the more I was replaying these things that, okay, if he who actually, gave birth to me, should I say that, could reject me, that means that I'm nobody. That means that, I'm no one. That means I can't be anything. That means if he can reject me, that means anyone can reject me. And I carried that with me for such a long time. But the thing is, I wasn't focusing on the positives, which was basically my father, my physical father that God has given me. He has been with me since he's my dad, since I was probably 3 or 4 years of age. But because of that, my self-esteem went down, my confidence went down, because I was carrying this for such a long time, and I didn't tell my mom. So I found out about it, and I didn't tell my mom. I found out about it when I was maybe around 8, and I carried it on with me up until like 14, when I couldn't anymore. And I was just so broken. I was behaving differently in school, and I was really, really quiet as well. And because I was really quiet, everything that people would feed me, if I was getting bullied at school, which really happened to me a lot, that would feed into that rejection, that you're nobody, you're no one. And I started looking at myself, and even now I'm so grateful for this journey, because even recently, when we started this healing journey, I realized that I hadn't healed from these things, and they were coming up. I finished my education, I finished my master's, and I came back home, and I went back to that place of of depression and anger and confusion and all these things, and I didn't know how to get out. It's like I was locked into this box, and I was lost and confused, and I didn't know how to get out. And no matter how much I tried to scream from inside, no one could hear me. And even if I was to go to the library or go outside, I felt invisible. I felt like no one can see me. Like I'm nobody. I'm no one. And it really damaged my self-image. I'm like, you know what? I'm not beautiful. I'm not this. And every single birthday, I would be so miserable. I would cry, because I didn't want anyone to be with me. I just wanted to be by myself, because why? It reminded me that I don't know my dad. I don't know my father. I
You're
don't know his
rejected,
name.
yeah.
I don't know where he's from. I don't know. Even till this day, I do not know his name. And that damaged me. That damaged me in a way that I can't, I was just like, okay. And I think every single birthday, I had this hope in me that maybe one day, he would show up. Even though I was living in rejection, like, you know what, I hate this man. I don't want to see him. But subconsciously, I had this hope that, you know what, he would one day show up. But you know what? God is just so amazing. He really is. Daddy God is so amazing because He's blessed me with a father. Honestly, He's blessed me with the most amazing father. This man is, oh my goodness, he reminds me of Daddy God. Honestly. And this revelation came through this healing journey that, you know what? This man, he took me as a stranger, and not only did he didn't adopt me or anything like that. When he met my mom, he loved my mom so much, and he said, you know what, I'm going to take this little girl and make her my own. And
Isn't this Daddy G?
Isn't this Daddy G?
Guys, this is very real. This is very real. This is very real. We are opening up secret places.
that just shows that Daddy's love is unconditional. If he could actually take a man who, out of nowhere and, introduce this little girl to a stranger. My dad has never, ever mistreated me in any way. He loves me. He loves me so unconditionally. He is not my biological father, but he loves me so much. And I was so blinded by this. For so long, I was so angry and focused on this man who I don't know where he's from, and I was so focused on the way that he rejected me. But God said, no, I've given you this lovely man. I've given you this lovely man to be your father. He loves you unconditionally. And honestly, my dad does. He's the best thing that has ever happened to me. Honestly, it is Daddy's gift to me. And he shows me, God loves me through my dad. He really does. He shows me his love through my dad. Honestly, everything I ask, he's always been there. He's never condemned me. He's never manipulated me. And we've talked about this, and through the healing journey, we're talking about Daddy's voice. How Daddy's voice is perfect and it's sure. Even if he's telling us off, he does it with with mercy, and he does it with love. Even
tenderness.
If he's gentle. He's gentle. His voice is sweet.
His voice doesn't come with
comprehend it. I can't comprehend it. There's no fear in his voice. And we go out, especially as girls who have been, who are suffering from these things, and it's low self-esteem and confidence, and people, come in there and they manipulate us, and they condemn us, and we buy it because we think, oh, this is what it is. It's love. But no, it's not love. So we're learning that Daddy God's voice, it's perfect, and it's gentle, and it's reassuring. Everything he does it because he has the best interest in you.
That's the thing.
But it's just so amazing. So this is what I've been learning, and this is what Daddy God has been teaching me, and he's revealing himself in a much more deeper way. And another thing, for all these years, I was, my dad, because he is one of those people that I think he's really, really smart. And I've always looked down on myself that, I'm not the smart one. Even if when I did my degree, I've got a science degree. I finished that, and I did my master's in it, and I was still saying, no, I'm not the smart one. Because I'm not this person who is smart, or who is, I always look down on myself. I always look down on myself, but through this, I was even, very tense around my dad, because, I didn't understand God's love. That's the thing. I didn't understand God's love because I saw him as this religious you know, I saw him in a religious way. You know, I prayed to him in a religious way. I, you know, I had an encounter with him in a religious way. So when I now then start to learn Daddy God and his character and the way that he is and the way that his eyes are always fixed on me. They're always, you know, his ears are always inclined to my voice. That, you know, I'm basically under the shadow of his wings. You know, I live in there. I live in there. I reside in that. And you know, that has made me and my father's relationship, my physical dad, so much better. I feel so much free. Because before, when I came back home, I was very tense. I was so under pressure. And I said, oh my goodness, if I don't get a job, for example, he's going to throw me out or whatever. But he reminded me, Daddy God reminded me that no, your father's love that I've given you on earth is unconditional. He loves you just the way you are. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to pretend to be this person that you're not. You don't have to. You don't need to do anything like that. Just be you. Be you and be you. Just, you know, embrace your uniqueness. Embrace who you are. And that's amazing.
Like, it's really real, guys. It's really real. Like, what we're sharing here are all the things that we've shared, you know, on this our healing journey. Don't mind, you know, whatever. Don't mind the tears. You know, there's been like an amazing step for us, you know, and one of the things that we are learning, you know, as Daddy God's daughter is that, you know, he's not only intentional, but you know what? We are not an afterthought. Like he has us in mind. Every single pain that you go through, it doesn't matter whatever situation you're in. He has already encapsulated everything that you need in that situation. But you know what? We didn't have all this experience. We didn't know we could experience him this way. We didn't know that. And one of the things that religion has done to us is to instill fear in us, is to, you know, make Daddy look like this man that is sitting on the throne with a very long cane. Anything you do, he's gonna whip you and all that. But we came to this realization all because one person, which is, you know, Dr. Sunday Adelaja, you know, we love Dr. Sunday so much because he has opened opened up this door to us that, you know what, sometimes I just and as women, let's be very honest, one of the things we struggle with is that loneliness, you know, we struggle with it. But just knowing that I can lie down on my bed and Daddy will lie down with me and he will cuddle me and he will hold me, you know, it's so important. But we didn't know all this. You know, it was when Dr. Sunday opened up this door for us that we knew we could have this relationship with him. We could, you know, open up our wounds to him. He will not judge you. He will never condemn you. He loves you. Like, he loves you so much. He loves you so much. He cares about you. You know, it is religion that makes us believe that, you know, Daddy, like when we do something, that Daddy is gonna weep us or Daddy is gonna. But now we're learning his heart. We're learning what makes him tick. We're learning, like now we know that spending time with him gives him joy. And the Bible says that the joy of the Lord is our strength, our own strength. So whatever we do, you know, to please his heart, to bring joy to his heart, it gives us strength. It gives us courage to be able to, you know, move on and press on in life. You know, and one of the things that we also have learned is that we are here for a reason. We are here for a purpose. Otherwise, why do you think that God will bring you here and allow you to go through all the things you've been through and just leave you there? No, there is a reason. There is a purpose. And that is what we're learning from this healing journey. That as we are dealing with all these issues, we're also going into our spheres to also help other people. So God has a purpose for you. But you're not going to know that when you're standing afar off. And that is why he said, come, let's reason together. Come. And even when that child in the Bible was, felt like they were going to leave that child away, he said, no, leave them, let them come to me. God wants you to sit on his leg. He wants you to hold him. He wants you, the both of you, to play together, have a conversation, think, do all that. He wants to have a relationship with you. And one of the things that I know most of us are really, really struggling with is fatherlessness. Fatherlessness has affected us so much. All of us that you're seeing here, we've had daddy issues. And that knowing that I have come to the age of I can take responsibility for my life. You can take responsibility for your life. If your father was not there, your mother was not there, or your husband, or whatever is your situation, God wants you to know that he is here. His love, and you don't need to pay anything. His love is free. His affection is free. His tenderness is free. His religion that has made us so far away from him. Far away from him.
I tell you what, Daddy God will speak to you in the most personal ways.
Wow. Yeah.
I just want to, as you said, go near to the camera.
Yeah, come closer. We need you.
I just want you to know that if you're open, you're open to really experiencing a personal relationship with him, you will know. You get to know him for real.
That's true.
There's nothing more, what's the word? More dear to the heart of God is that we get to know him intimately. And there's something that I shy away from. I shy away from the word prayer, because the word prayer has been abused so much. It's turned into a religious connotation. For me, I like to say have a conversation with Daddy God. Converse with him. Talk with him. Talk to him one-on-one. And talk to him. You'll be amazed.
Honestly.
A recent experience that I had, because we're talking about personal stuff, personal experiences on this healing journey. Recently, Daddy God has been teaching me to laugh at challenges. And so he's been showing me pictures of us, the two of us, laughing at a challenge.
Wow.
Laughing. I've never had that. I've never thought of it, it hasn't crossed my mind. But this healing journey, my new lesson is to, when a situation happens, is both of us to laugh at it. Ha 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 ha. I'm thinking, Daddy G, are you for real?
Yeah.
He will reveal himself to you in the most ridiculous ways, if I can put it that way. Overwhelming. He's teaching. He says, it's not just me. We will laugh together at the situation. And it's like, wow.
It's true.
One thing I hate with a passion is anything, anyone, any being that tries to inhibit or obstruct or stop you from having a personal relationship with God. That is what it sets my heart on fire. I hate it with a passion. Anything that stands in the way from you having a personal relationship with God.
She doesn't.
You see, I'm a very quiet person.
She doesn't.
I'm a quiet person, but let me hear you.
You'll be in
Let
trouble.
me hear you.
You're in trouble.
Let me hear you saying stuff.
You will be in
trouble. You want to say that Daddy God is not accessible. He's not real.
Yeah.
Guys, you don't really know me. I think Daddy God is preparing me. I cannot stand. I cannot stand you abusing my Daddy God. I can't stand it. Any way or shape and form. He's my daddy. He is my daddy. He's our daddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love my daddy God.
Oh, sweet daddy.
I love my
We
daddy
love
God.
you.
I love my daddy God.
We love you.
I love daddy God.
Wow. 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 Wow.
He is the best thing. You know, when I can't pray, when I can't have a conversation with him, the only thing I can say to him is, Daddy, I thank you that you're my daddy.
Yeah.
And I thank you that I'm your child. I said, that is the best thing
Yeah.
that has ever happened to me.
Yeah.
To have you as my daddy. I have a physical daddy, but he wasn't in my life. But he's given me much more
Much more.
that I have the daddy of all daddies
Yeah.
in my life.
He's the greatest.
The greatest of daddies in my life.
He's the sweetest.
The sweetest of daddies in my life.
Awesome.
I can access him 24/7.
Anytime.
And even times when, you know, I feel like maybe I've done something wrong and I want to run away from him, he's the one chasing after me.
Yeah.
He's the one always drawing me closer to him. A word of encouragement. He'll not even make reference to the things that I've done. And he'll talk to me about something else. And I'll say to him, but what
Are you
about
not
that
mad?
thing I did?
Yeah.
What about that? He doesn't even mind me. He doesn't even acknowledge that. He doesn't even acknowledge that.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't even acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And he will talk to me about something else.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to him and say, but what about what I did? And he just ignores me. And he talks about something totally different. Like, you are amazing, Anastasia. And I'll be like, but Daddy, what did I, are you not going to talk, are you not going to scold me for what I did?
Are you not going to be mad?
Are you not going to be mad at me?
not.
He doesn't do that.
He's not.
He doesn't do that.
He's not.
So,
He's
my
not.
daddy God is very personal to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I have on Facebook called a page called My Daddy God For Real with Anastasia Macdonald. And I will strongly encourage you to subscribe to it or be part of it so you can see what Daddy God has been up to in my life. I'm starting something new on Monday called Imagine God With You Adventure.
Yeah.
Imagine God With You
Yeah.
Adventure Series. It's
Yeah.
starting on Monday.
Yeah.
And I will encourage you to subscribe, whatever they call it on Facebook.
Yes. Like the page.
Like the page,
Yeah.
just to be part of it.
Share the page.
Yeah.
Share
Like
the
the
page.
page. Yeah.
My daddy God, let me tell you about his love.
Wow.
My mom my mom and my dad, in their, in their ignorance, when my mom became pregnant with me, they decided to abort. And my mom and my dad went to a doctor to have me aborted. And they thought I was aborted. But you see, Daddy God had his hand upon me.
Yeah.
And he caused that thing. They thought it was done. But God kept me in my mother's womb. You know, and when that happened, my daddy named me, my African name that, okay, God, it seems that you want this child in this world. So I'm going to name this child God. She is your responsibility. That's the meaning of my African name. If you're Nyansen, that okay, this child is your responsibility. And in spite of all the attacks of the enemy, I had no confidence. I had low self-esteem. I hated myself. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I hated my artistic gift. I had everything and everything. You name it. But you know what? Daddy God picked me. He picked me and he's been restoring me. Look at where I am today. By the grace, Daddy God led me to Dr. Sunday Adelaja. I was crying out to him. I said, Daddy God, show me somebody who really loves you. Show me somebody who carries your presence in simplicity. This was January 2016. Just show me. And he led me to Dr. Sunday Adelaja. Dr. Sunday Adelaja is the reflection of Daddy G.
Yeah.
He is a reflection. So for those of you who don't know who Dr. Sunday Adelaja is, he's on Facebook at Dr. Sunday Adelaja, on YouTube,
Sunday Adelaja official,
and his blog,
SundayAdelajablog.com.
Yeah,
you need to meet this man.
you need to.
You need to meet him.
You need to. And we're not saying this. We're not saying this because we want to put him out there. We're saying this because of the personal experience that we've had. You know, number one, he pays attention to each and every one of us, and that is to tell you that God pays attention to all of us. It doesn't matter how many billions of people are talking to him. He stays with you, and that is what Pastor Sunday does to us. He pays attention to all of us. He loves us. He teaches us, and his greatest desire is for us to fulfill the purpose that we've been called to do, and that is what God wants us. God also wants us to know that I have brought you here, and my greatest desire is for you to reflect me. You are my representative. You know, just like us, just like Party said, we wear dark clothes, and it's not just about the physical clothes. We wear dark our faces. You know, our heart reflect, you know, because of the whatever we're going through, our heart begins to reflect in what we say, in what we do, and we soak ourselves in corporate things, you know, in public. We're so consumed, we're not really in touch with him personal. But his greatest desire is for us to reflect him. It's for you to, you know, just if like Pastor Sunday, you know, what he does is, you know, when he laughs, oh my God. When he laughs.
It's like
Yeah, when he laughs he laughs like the world belongs to me. He understands that it's my Father's world. So that is what God wants for us to understand that, listen, this world belongs to your daddy.
Yes.
You don't have to come and live a miserable life. You don't have to come and live a life of pain. You don't have to come and live a life that nobody even knows you came, that nobody will remember your name. Nobody remembers anything. You know, you have to understand that this world belongs to your Father, and it is your right to take over and do all that he has asked you. You know, but you're not gonna do that if you're far away from him. And I'm sorry to say, but you're not gonna do that in corporate prayers. You're not gonna do that in corporate relationship. You're not gonna do that. We all, as you're saying, all of us, our relationship with Daddy is different. When we come together, and we start sharing our experience. So Queen Livy, like last week, we were talking about rejection, and she just mentioned rejection. And it happened that me and her had the same thing, but he reflected it differently. The situation was different, you know, but it was still what? It was still rejection. It was still that low self-esteem and neglect. So, you know, Daddy is different too, and God becomes whoever you want him to become to you. That he becomes whoever. If you want him to become just a man that you think will condemn you, judge you, he becomes like that. That is how you see him. That is how you see him. You know, so I'm so grateful, Queen Anastasia.
We love you.
Yes, we love you. Guys, I would like to say
We're so grateful because we've had this experience, and it's because one person has decided to reflect God. So I want to ask you, have you found a way that you can reflect God to someone? Have you found something? Maybe it's your gift. Maybe it's something that God has put in you that you can reflect him, that you can show his love, that you can show how diverse. Look at us. We're all from different countries, different places, but we have one common denomination. God is our Father.
He's our daddy.
He's our daddy. G. Daddy G. Daddy
I would like to share
G.
the last thing I would like to say for myself. It's a very difficult thing, but I have to say it. I just want to say, if you're out there, please don't condemn yourself. There's no condemnation for those of us who are in Christ.
Yeah.
And so God doesn't condemn you. God doesn't condemn me.
Yeah.
And it's with so much shame and pain that I'm going to tell you something that I tried to do. I tried to take my life. I tried to end it because I thought that I wasn't loved enough. I thought that nobody cared. I thought that there was no point for me to be alive. And I'm opening this up. It's very difficult, but I am going to do it because it's important that I do it. I tried to end my life because I believed that I wasn't what he said I was. And so I want to say to you today, suicide is not an option. No matter the issues you have, no matter what is going on, don't kill yourself. Don't end your life.
Don't.
I have been there. I have been there to a point that I thought nobody would even notice that I'm gone. No one noticed. You know, that's what I thought in my mind. I thought, who would notice? Who would care? Because, you know, the issues of life can sometimes get so overwhelming.
Yeah.
They can get so overwhelming when you don't deal with them, when you don't address them. And topped up with a damaged childhood, your cup can overflow. And so I encourage you and I beg of you to get professional help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get help.
Yeah.
If you're feeling depressed, I was in depression. I will share my story. I was in depression. And no one knew out there that I was depressed. I would dress up, I would come out in makeup. You wouldn't know, but I would cry myself to sleep many nights. I was feeling depressed. I was so down. I was so broken. And I just thought, you know what? Even if I take my life, nobody would know. Nobody would notice. Maybe the smell is what would make them come. Maybe, you know, them not noticing or hearing the children crying alone would make them come. But I attempted to take my life. And it's the grace of Daddy God that stopped me, because in that moment when I tried to swallow those pills, I took those pills and I tried to swallow them. As a Christian, born again, but I didn't feel the love. I didn't feel the love. I couldn't feel the care. I couldn't feel, you know, that the relationship was real. I couldn't feel the love from people. I couldn't feel the connection. It was superficial for me. You know, when people say they love you, they think about you, it was too superficial. I needed something real. And so I thought, no, let me end it. This is too much for my heart. I can't take this anymore. You know, there were so many personal, you know, things happening in my life. Thank you. And I would like to open up and say to you, please don't suffer in silence.
Go and seek professional.
Pick up the phone. Talk to someone. Don't suffer alone. And the person I picked up the phone to speak to is sitting right here next to me. This woman right here means the world to me, because she was the person on the other side when this happened. And she literally held my hand. I could feel her hold me over the phone because she was there. She was just there. And she didn't waste time. She took action.
Yeah.
She just said, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We're going to get you sorted. We're going to get you, pick yourself up, come out of there. Come out of the mess. And so I want to say to you that I've been there. And if you feel like ending it, if you feel like giving up, please stop. Take a pause. If men have failed you, if women have failed you, if the world has failed you, there is someone who can love you. There is someone who can embrace you. There is someone who can hold you and be there for you like no other. And that is our Father in heaven.
Yes, Daddy.
Our Daddy who dwells among us, who's in our hearts. And He has got His children here on earth to show you that love. And so this woman right here is my Daddy God person who He sent to say to me, hold on, I love you. I am here. I am here. I am here. And she was there for me. And so I want to share that to say this healing journey is very real and personal for me. And like I said, as a Christian, this wasn't, long ago. This is this year, a couple of months ago. And so I want to say to you, please, don't allow you're too precious to God.
You're
to
so
go
precious.
through things that take you to that edge and you think, am I worth anything? Should I take my life? Please, I beg of you. You are too precious. You are too valuable. You are loved. The creator of the universe thinks the world of you. Don't end it. Even no matter how bleak and how dark and how difficult the situation you're in right now, please hear me and believe me. There are still good people out there. And there's a good God out there who is ready to hold you and embrace you. I wouldn't be here today. I would have been in the cemetery today. By now I could have been in the cemetery, but I'm here and I'm alive because someone decided to show me the love that is up there here on earth. And so please, I want to implore all of us to also be those people to everyone. Please do not pass people by. Please, when you see someone with tears in their eyes or someone who's looking depressed or who's looking overwhelmed, please let's stop Bible bashing them. Let's take them by the hand. And the first thing, to reassure them that they are loved and they are accepted and that it will be okay. And to physically do the work of supporting them. Bring them back to health. Point them to psychological and psychological help. It's working for me. It's working for me right now. And so I just wanted to share that with you. It's very personal. And I've let it out there and I'm glad I did. And I hope it helps you. Because I am here with my sisters right here. And they are supporting me. They are walking this journey with me. And they're there for me. And I'm not going to lose my life. I'm not going to get to that place again. I ain't doing that. I'm too pretty.
Too precious.
And I'm too blessed. And I'm too... That's not arrogance, by the way. That is just self-confidence restored. I am too precious to go anywhere anytime soon, okay? So no more those dark thoughts. It's a thing of the past. I've let it go. I've forgiven myself. And I'm ready to move on. So please, you're too precious. Do not kill yourself.
And also know that a price has been paid for you, because it's not just we've all gotten to that place where we've all wanted to just end it, but you know what, a price has been paid for you, and this is not just any price. This is the price on the cross. 2 nights ago I was saying to Queen Anastasia that I felt so much rejection, and I felt like nobody really cares, nobody. But one of the things that God placed before me was, He said to me, He said, look at my hand. a nail went through this hand. If you feel so much pain, I want you to put your hands in that hole and feel it, and know that I feel this pain with you, that I am here with you, that every fire, everything you're going through, that I am here with you. And I had to practice it, and when I did, I laid flat on the floor because I just couldn't imagine. I just laid flat on the floor and I just began to worship him, and I began to see. He showed me the crown of thorns that he wore, the blood that was shed. You know, he paid a price for you. He paid a precious price, and for him to pay that price, it means he really loves you. Because if someone doesn't love you, they're not going to pay any price. They're not going to be committed. He loves you. He cares for you. And he has chosen you. You are precious. You are so precious. Like he holds you in a high esteem. Like if you know, one of the things we learned in the healing journey is how Daddy sees us. And if you know just a quarter of how God sees you, I'm telling you, you're going to be running around the street and telling people how much he loves you and how much he cares for you. So you know what? He has paid a price for you. He loves you. He really loves you.
He really does. And just hitting on what Queen Patty said, you know, we hear of Christians, many Christians dying and of cancer and all that. And I believe that one of the reasons because of it is because we're all hiding. We're not being open. Everybody is pretending and dying inside. We're not being real.
No.
You know, the Bible tells us that we should confess. It said, confess your sins one to another, so that you may be healed. You may be healed. So, if you want to join this healing journey, you're welcome, which we will announce at the end. But if you want to do your own healing journey with somebody, let's stop being fake. Let us be real.
Be real.
Let us be real with one another. Let us stop this nonsense. Pardon my language. Let's stop it. Let us be real. Let us be healed from our inside. You know, because at the end of the day, Daddy God wants to use us for his glory. But if we go around and we are pretending
and thinking everything is okay,
you know,
we suffer inside.
Let's be real. And like I said, if you need to go and seek professional counseling, but by all means, make it your priority. Go and do that. Go and seek professional help. Go and speak to somebody. Don't do, it is well, it is the Lord, all that jargon and blessed, and all that thing. That thing is killing you inside. It's killing you inside. You know, there's something about being open and honest. That itself is healing. It is healing in itself when you open up and you begin to talk about this thing and you're no more in the dark. It is healing. Healing comes in different forms, you know.
But you have to know who you're going to talk to and who you need to speak with.
So talk to Daddy about it.
Talk to Daddy God.
And he will lead you. He wants you healed more than you know, even more than you. He really wants you to be whole. You know, because he sent his son. He paid an awesome price for your life. He paid a hefty price for your life. So to then, you know, to be locked in this, emotional, it doesn't, I mean, I'm a parent of, you know, 2 adult children. I can't imagine my children, you know, being locked in some emotional, that would just break my heart. Crippled, you know, emotionally crippled. That would break my heart. Not to talk about, you know, Daddy God himself. So we're gonna be rounding up in a minute, because I know we've been over an hour, and I pray that you've been blessed. But I hope that our story, our healing journey has helped you. Right? Right? For those who just joined, well, My name is Anastasia Macdonald, and I'm the talk show host of what I call Who Is Your Daddy series. I am so much in love in helping people go through, deal with the traumas of not having a daddy. But today is a special episode called The Healing Journey Experience with Daddy who?
G. Daddy G. Daddy G. And just in case, if you're wondering how you want to begin this walk with him, you can always send a message to Anastasia Macdonald.
Yes.
She taught us, especially me, how to write letters, how to talk, just sit down and, have a conversation with him. And we mentioned our mentor, Dr. Sunday Adelaja. He has also taught us how to practice his presence. His presence is not when you sing. His presence is not when you have to practice it. So if you want to know how you can begin this work, send her a message and she will coach you. She is a coach. For those of you that are joining, Queen Livy has been her daughter, for a long time. She's been coaching her. She's coaching me. She's coaching Patty as well.
Yes.
So send her a message. Let's not die in silence. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good on Daddy if we're doing that.
I like that. It doesn't look good on Daddy.
It doesn't look good on Daddy. It doesn't. We paint a bad picture when we die miserable, when we die pretending, we die in pain, we die in silence. He doesn't like it. It doesn't look good on him. Let's take off that label. You can always reach out to her. She's got a Facebook page, My Daddy God for Real. And also, if you're above 50 and you've given up in life and you think you're nothing, you have no sense of worth.
For you.
You don't even have to be 50 plus,
Just 49 plus.
Yeah, 49. Yeah. Please check out her page. There's a Facebook page is Stately
And
Flourishing. So check out. A lot of things are gonna be taking place.
Yes.
So be part of it. Be part of it. God has given us a platform which is Facebook. It's something you can always go there and just send her a message. And we're so grateful. We thank you all for
so much.
doing live video for us.
Thank you.
Share.
Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time out this afternoon to be with us on this special episode. Thank you, Dr. Sunday Adelaja, again for being there for us, for mentoring us into Daddy G's girl. Thank you so much. We celebrate and honor you.
Yes,
and
we
above
do.
all, Daddy G.
Daddy G.
We love you.
G.
We honor you, Daddy G. We celebrate you.
Thank you, Daddy.
We hug you right
We
now.
love
We
you.
say thank you. Thank you for making us who we are today.
Yes.
Thank you for sending your only begotten Son
Thank
for
you.
us,
Thank
for
you,
picking
Daddy.
us up from the dirt
Thank you,
and
Daddy.
setting us on
Thank
the
you,
rock
Daddy.
to stay. Thank you for choosing us in eternity
Thank you,
past
Daddy.
to be part
Thank
of your
you.
grand scale
Thank you,
of
Daddy.
things. Thank you for the giftings, the abilities you put inside us. Thank you for the diamond, the riches that you give. Thank you for the multitude of blessings that you give us every day. The Bible says you overload us with your blessings. Thank you so much, Daddy, God, for the gift of life itself. Thank you for your mercies which are new every morning. Thank you for your faithfulness, Daddy God. Thank you. You are the best Daddy G in the whole